I once watched someone replace a control board on a GE appliance and nothing changed. Same symptom, same annoying behavior, how is that even possible? And here's the weird part, the diagnosis wasn't exactly wrong. The board really wasn't sending the right signal, but the board also wasn't the problem. That's the trap with appliance troubleshooting. You can be right about what you're seeing and still be wrong about what's causing it. So in this video, I want to give you a master process you can use on basically any GE appliance. Washer, dryer, refrigerator, dishwasher, range, without guessing, without parts roulette, and without needing a completely different strategy every time. It's 7 steps, but the real surprise is why the same 7 steps keep working across totally different machines. If a dryer won't heat, it feels natural to blame the heating element. If a washer won't drain, the pump is suspicious. If the fridge isn't cooling, the compressor becomes the main character. And sometimes that instinct is even correct. But here's why smart, careful do-it-yourselfers still get stuck. Appliances don't fail like single parts, they fail like systems. A heater can be perfectly fine and still never warm up because a door switch isn't closing, a thermal fuse open, a relay didn't click, or power never reached it. A drain pump can be healthy and still not move water because the control never told it to run, or because the pump is getting voltage but the impeller is jammed, or because the drain path is blocked. So the same symptom can come from totally different causes, and the same bad part can be blamed when it's actually being framed by something upstream. That's not you being bad at repairs, that's you missing the map. Almost every appliance is just 3 things arranged in a loop. Power comes in, a control decides what should happen. A load does the work, heats, spins, pumps, cools, fills, and ignites. And then feedback, switches, sensors, thermistors, floats, tell the control what actually happened. That's it. Different appliance, different parts, but the same story structure. So the universal diagnostic process is really a way of asking, where in that loop did reality stop matching the plan? Step 1. Don't troubleshoot the story, troubleshoot the symptom. Before meters, before panels, before ordering anything, get painfully specific. Not, it won't start, more like the display turns on. I press start, it clicks once, then nothing happens. Not cooling, more like freezer is warm. Evaporator fan is running. Compressor is hot to the touch. Condenser fan is silent. Specific symptoms shrink the search area. Vague ones explode it. And while you're here, try the easiest recreation possible. Same settings, same conditions. Intermittent problems love to hide behind randomness. Step 2. Verify the basics you're tempted to assume. This is the humbling step. Is the outlet actually good? Is the breaker fully reset? Is the water valve turned on? Is the gas shutoff open? Is the door fully closed? On GE dryers especially, you can have power and still be missing half of what you need. A 240 volt dryer can run the motor on one leg and never heat because the other leg isn't there. It looks alive, but it can't do the whole job. These checks feel too simple until they're the reason your third replacement part didn't help. Step 3, identify the system you're actually diagnosing. Pick the one thing that's failing: heating, draining, filling, spinning, cooling, agitation, or igniting. You're not fixing the appliance, you're fixing one system inside it. This keeps you from chasing unrelated clues, like a weird noise that's been there for 2 years when the real issue is a no-drain event that started yesterday. Step 4, find the chain, control, to safety, to load. Here's the detective move. Whatever system is failing, there's almost always a chain. The control board or timer sends power. One or more safety devices have to agree. door switch, lid lock, thermal fuse, float switch, pressure switch. Then the loads run: the motor, pump, valve, heater, fan, compressor circuit. When you trace that chain, the question becomes simple: where does the chain stop? This is the moment where a wiring diagram stops being intimidating and starts being a treasure map. And GE usually gives you that map, a tech sheet, a mini manual, or a diagram tucked behind a panel, under the console, or in a kick plate area. If you find it, you're no longer guessing, you're tracing. Step 5. Use one test that changes your confidence level. A good test doesn't just check a part, it changes what you believe. For example, if a washer won't drain and you measure voltage at the drain pump during the drain portion of the cycle, if you get the correct voltage and the pump doesn't move water, the control is probably fine and the pump or blockage is the issue. If you get no voltage, the pump might be innocent, and you shift upstream to the control, the wiring, the door latch logic. Same exact idea on a dryer heater, a fridge fan, and an inlet valve. Voltage present during the command, then the control side is doing its job. No voltage, work backwards. Step 6. Confirm the failure mode, not just the fail part. Even when you find the bad component, ask why it went bad the way it did. A thermal fuse opened? That often points to overheating and airflow issues in a dryer, not just replace fuse and move on. The fridge fan is not running? Confirm it's not being intentionally turned off due to a door switch, defrost logic, or sensor input. This step is how you prevent the fix from being temporary. Step 7. Prove the repair with a full cycle reality check. The job isn't done when it turns on. It's done when it completes the part of the cycle that used to fail. Heating appliances need a real heat run. Drain issues need an actual drain. Cooling needs enough time to show a temperature change. And after you reassemble, listen for anything you accidentally introduced. Pinch wires, misrouted hoses, loose connections. A great diagnosis can be undone by sloppy reassembly. So why does this same process keep working? Because GE isn't building random machines, they're building variations of the same control loop: power, decision, safety, load, feedback. Once you see that, error codes and symptoms stop feeling like cryptic messages and start feeling like directions. And that means you can troubleshoot a refrigerator with the same mindset you use on a washer. Different hardware, same logic. If you remember only one thing, make it this: stop asking what part is common to fail. Start asking, where does the chain stop? Control, safety, wiring, or load? That's how you become fast. That's how you become accurate. And that's how you order the part once, because you earned the answer instead of guessing it. If you want parts, diagrams, and model-specific help for your GE appliance, that's what we do every day at AppliancePartsPros.com. But the method you just learned, that's yours forever across washers, dryers, dishwashers, fridges, and ranges. And the best feeling is when you catch yourself mid-guess. Pause, test one thing, and suddenly the whole problem makes sense.